The issue of competition between the European sphere and the Pacific sphere is not yet played out. If Europe as a whole knows how to organize itself, it has tremendous assets, even if the Pacific holds a considerable lead today. Between these two spheres, rivalry will provoke commercial, financial, and political tensions aimed at the domination of technology, business, and markets, in particular in their respective peripheries: Africa for Europe, Latin America, and Southeast Asia for Japan. The yellow race joins again, huh? A great deal needs to happen if Europe is really to contend seriously with Japan for the right to rule as the center of the ninth market form. If Western Europe progresses towards political unity and Eastern Europe succeeds in democratization, if the two parts of Europe can invent audacious ways of joining together, of aiding each other, then it is not impossible to imagine a European triumph over its Asian rival. With a tremendous amount of effort, creativity, and work, the eco could surpass the dollar and the yen. The living standard in Europe could overtake the most elaborate Asian standard, and the values of European civil society, liberty, and democracy could stretch across the entire planet. So this is why he wants the European sphere in America to be the next center, because of these values. He wants to have the next center have these values instead of the anti-life death worship of East Asia, according to 1984. So he thought that political unity and Eastern Europe democratization and unity of both halves of Europe would have led to a European triumph. This vision may seem excessive. It is already proving difficult to absorb the countries of Eastern and Central Europe into the market order of the West. And I believe that is still currently true. A lot of MGTOW guys talk about how guys just leave America and come to Romania. The women are women there. So anyway, that kind of explains this sentence right here, or this sentence explains that comment right there, right? Anyhow, nevertheless, much is being accomplished. The 12 nations involved in the construction of the European community will build a single market, and they will draw conclusions from this process for cooperation in fiscal matters, education, scientific research, international law, and so forth. This process harbors a relentless inner logic, a logic that pushes the Western European states toward ever greater political and military integration. Already they have decided to undertake the creation of a common currency and a central bank, and defending the environment with transnational institutions. Later, they will consider converging their foreign policies and defense strategies. This process is irreversible unless what happens in the East puts it all into question again. If successful, this process will permit Europe to become a political world leader beyond its economic role. The construction of a European sphere is made possible, of course, by the collapse of the old order of force in Eastern Europe. That collapse was unexpected, only because it was so swift. It was apparent well before 1989 that there could be no wealth without creativity, something USSA citizens should remember. No wealth without creativity, no creativity without democracy. For the Soviet Union, and therefore for Eastern Europe's communist regimes, the choice was between dying or changing the order. The spectacle of abundance in the West, which Glasnost helped to spotlight, hastened the momentum of collapse. The challenge now is to bring the eastern part of Europe closer to the West. For this to happen, Eastern Europe must evolve successively, for which there is cause to doubt, in three directions. First, a civil society with the rule of law and constitution of democratic institutions must be put in place. S is already happening with some speed, blah, 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 blah. So I'm just going to show you these pages so you can read them on your own later. All the reasons for to bring the East closer to the West. Why? What are the challenges? So 1, 2, 3, and so forth. So when I come back, I'll go to page 63 later.